हेलो फ्रेंड्स। आज हम डिस्कस करेंगे वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट टेक्नोलॉजीज के बारे में। यहाँ पे हम कुछ सिलेक्टेड टेक्नोलॉजीज जो कि सॉलिड वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट के लिए काम में ली जाती हैं उनका डिस्कशन करेंगे, जैसे इंसिनरेशन, पायरोलाइसिस एंड गैसिफिकेशन। सो व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय वेस्ट? वेस्ट क्या है? सो वेस्ट क्या होता है? वेस्ट वो प्रोडक्ट होता है जिसका फर्दर कोई उपयोग या यूटिलाइजेशन नहीं होता है। जैसे कि आपके पास एक चम्मच है। सो जब तक, जैसे एक प्लास्टिक की चम्मच है और प्लास्टिक स्पून का जब तक यूटिलाइजेशन होता है, अगर उसके बाद में टूट जाती है तो टूटने के बाद में इसका कोई फर्दर कोई यूज नहीं है, तो इसको हम फेंक देते हैं। तो ये अभी वेस्ट मटेरियल हो जाता है। सो द वेस्ट क्या होता है? वेस्ट इज ए प्रोडक्ट और सबस्टांस विच इज नो लॉन्गर सुटेड फॉर इट्स इंटेंडेड यूज। सो जिसके लिए ये बना है, अब उस काम के लिए ये कोई यूजफुल नहीं है। ठीक है, तो वो पर्टिकुलर प्रोडक्ट और सब्सटेंस वेस्ट की कैटेगरी में आ जाता है। सॉलिड वेस्ट मींस क्या होता है? ये कोई भी वेस्ट या गार्बेज या रिफ्यूज दैट इज जनरेटेड फ्रॉम द स्लज, लाइक स्लज फ्रॉम द वेस्ट वाटर ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट, वाटर सप्लाई ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट, एयर pollution control facilities and other discarded material resulting from the industrial, commercial, mining and agriculture operations and community activities. They come under the solid waste category. Okay, then the solid waste management, it is a process of management of the solid waste material, that including the collection of material, treatment of the material, their proper disposal. Okay, so this is the solid waste management process. Now here you can see there are many municipal solid waste management technologies. Okay, so this is the municipal solid waste management. So generally the technologies are classified into three categories. First one is the thermal conversion. So the process that depend on the temperature. Second one is the biological conversion, the process that are depend on the microorganism activity. And third one is the landfills. In landfills, the municipal solid waste is directly dumped off in the landfill sites, and from landfill site, the landfill gases emission take place. And the major component of landfill gas is the methane. Okay, sometimes this question also asks, what is the component of landfill gas? So methane is the component of the landfill gas. Along with methane, the carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and oxides of nitrogen and sulfur, other components are also present in the landfill gases. And these landfill gases used for the energy and electricity generation. Okay. So the thermal conversion process are subdivided into three categories. First one is the incineration, gasification and pyrolysis. So in this lecture we discuss about these three methods: incineration, gasification and pyrolysis in detail. Okay. So the incineration again sub-classified into the inert, produce the inert residue and heat or steam. And these heat or steam use further used for the energy or electricity generation. The gasification produce the syngas, and these syngas also further used for the energy or electricity generations. Pyrolysis are two types: slow pyrolysis and fast pyrolysis, and they produce the biochar and biofuels that is again further used for the energy and electricity generations. Now the biological conversion are classified into the aerobic composition and anaerobic decomposition. So aerobic composition, the example of aerobic composition is the composting, and anaerobic digestion is the biogas production and soil conditioner. So these are the several methodologies or processes that are used for the management of the municipal solid waste. So the waste are managed by two type of method: thermochemical process and biochemical process. Thermochemical process means the process depend on the temperature, and biochemical process that depend on the microorganism. In the thermochemical process are classified like incineration is the thermochemical process, Gasification is the thermochemical process. Pyrolysis is the thermochemical process. In incineration, the use for the electricity production. Gasification for gas or fuel. Pyrolysis for the biooil. And the biochemical processes are classified like fermentation and anaerobic digestion. The fermentation used for ethanol production and the anaerobic digestion used for biogas production. So now we discuss all three methods: incineration, pyrolysis and gasification one by one. So first is the incineration. So the incineration is also known as combustion. Okay. So the incineration method or process used for the treatment of the organic substances that are present into the waste material. Okay. So it is also known as rapid oxidation process or dry oxidation process, because when the waste material are having the less amount of moisture or they are dry, in that condition this process used, and we provide the sufficient amount of the oxygen. That's why this is a oxidation process. So it known as a or rapid oxidation process or dry oxidation process. The incineration is a exothermic process because it produces large amount of the heat that used for the energy and electricity generation. The incineration process carried out in a furnace for the burning of the waste. And the incineration process is carried out at a high temperature that is ranging from 1200 to 1500. 1200 to 1500. That's why this method is also known as a thermal treatment process. So the incineration of waste material convert into the waste such as ash, flue gas and heat. So what do you mean by flue gas? So that gases that is emitted from the chimney or stack, they known as flue gases. In some cases, these flue gases are used for the electricity generations. The ash that is generated is mostly formed by the inorganic substances that are present into the waste. It is one of the most effective methods for reducing the volume and weight of the municipal solid waste material. So this is a very important line about the incineration. So incineration is used to reduce the volume and weight of the municipal solid waste. Generally, the incineration reduce the municipal solid waste volume by up to 96% and volume weight up to 85%. Okay. Along with the volume and weight, it also sterilize and stabilize the waste material. For the complete oxidation, it requires the sufficient amount of the air. Air means, in generally, air means oxygen, and approximately 5,000 kg of air is required for the proper combustion of the 1 ton of the waste. And the requirement of oxygen is variable according to the moisture content of the waste and type of the waste. So many different type of hazardous metal can be treated by the incineration, including the soil, sludge, liquid and gases. The incineration sometimes used for the destruction of the harmful chemicals like solvents, PCB, polychlorinated biphenyls, pesticides, but it cannot destroy or degrade the heavy metals like lead, chromium that are present into the waste material. So incineration is a one of the waste to energy production technologies. Okay. And the other technologies that are come under this category waste to energy production, and they are like the incineration and gasification and pyrolysis, anaerobic digestion, they are come under this category. So the incineration and gasification process are almost similar in the principles. The energy produced from the incineration is high in temperature, whereas the energy produced from gasification come in the form the combustible gases. Okay, so this is the major difference. In the incineration, they produce high temperature heat, and the gasification produce the combustible gases that are used for the production of the heat and energy. The first UK incinerator for waste disposal was built in the Nottingham by Manlove, Elliot and others in 1874, and this incinerator was patented by the Fryer. Alfred Fryer. Okay, so earlier these incinerator known as destructor. So this is the earlier name of the incinerator. The first US incinerator was built in 1885 in Governor Island in New York, and the first facility in Czech Republic was built in 1905 in Brno. So these are the some examples of earlier incinerators settled in UK, USA, and Czech Republic. So this is a general flow diagram for the incineration process. Here you can see this is the contaminated feed that in the put in the feeder. From feeder it come into the primary chamber. This is the primary chamber where the fuel, air, and feed mix properly and the burning take place. The after completion of the burning, the ash is the residual ash that is known as a bottom ash that is received, and the emitted gases again goes into the secondary combustion chamber, where in the presence of oxygen they are further oxidized and they release into the atmosphere. So the major objective of incineration are volume reduction. It reduces the volume, it stabilizes the waste, recovery of energy from the waste, and sterilization of the waste. Now, the what are the byproduct or output of the incinerator? So, incinerator in incineration process, solid, liquid, and gaseous all type of the product are output product are generated. The solid product are like fly and bottom ash, particulate matter, and heavy metals. The liquid product includes the hydrochloric acid, the gases like CO2, dioxin, furan, sulfur dioxide, NOx, heavy metals, and unpleasant odors. So, with the incineration process, the emission of dioxin and furan is a negative point because the dioxin and furan are very toxic for the living beings, for the human, and for the environment. Until now, there is no clear-cut regulations and guideline for these toxic gases. Now, the type of incinerators. So there are many type of the incinerators. The first one is the burn pile. This is a basic and general type. In the we burn the combustible material into the open area. Second one is the burn barrel. This is a barrel that is used for the burning of the waste material. Okay, so burn barrel type. Third one is the rotary kiln type. The rotary kiln type incinerator, they are generally used for the industrial scale applications. And these are more equipment, and the incineration process is more advanced and complicated. So this is the diagram of the rotary kiln type of the incinerators. Now the fluidized base type of the incinerator. Okay, so in this type of the incinerator, they having the sand bed. This is the sand bed. In the diagram you can see sand bed, and they pass the forcefully air through the sand bed. Okay, and from the upper side we feed the waste material and air. So in the presence of the air and fluidized sand bed material, the combustion of the waste material take place. The fifth one is the moving grate type. So this is type of incinerator are generally used for the municipal waste management process. So the moving grade incinerator are sometimes referred to municipal solid waste incinerator MSWI, and the combustion is more efficient and is complete process in this type of incinerator. Here you can see this is the moving grade that continuously feed the waste material, and this is the burning of the waste material. Now the sixth one is the multiple heat incinerator, and the operating temperature of this type of incinerator is ranging from 760 to 980 degrees centigrade. In this diagram you can see there are multiple heat that are used for the waste material feeding and combustion. Now the advantages of the incineration process. The first one is the reduction in the volume and weight. Second one is the waste reduction is immediate and does not require long term resistance. So जो भी वेस्ट होता है उसका तुरंत रिडक्शन हो जाता है और उसका कोई लॉन्ग टर्म के लिए उसको रखना नहीं पड़ता है. The waste can be incinerated on site without carted to distance area. सो इंसिनरेशन है उसको ऑन साइट, सपोज कहीं पर्टिकुलर एरिया में अगर बहुत ज्यादा वेस्ट है तो ऑन साइट फैसिलिटीज को इस्टेब्लिश करके ऑन साइट प्रॉपर ट्रीटमेंट किया जा सकता है. The air discharge can be effectively controlled for minimal impact on the atmospheric environment. So air discharge को कंट्रोल किया जाता है pollutants के emission को कंट्रोल करने के लिए. The ash residue is usually non-putrescible or sterile. Non-putrescible or sterile means the ash that is the sterile, that having free from the microorganisms. The technology exists to completely destroy even most hazardous material in complete effective manner. So this type technology can completely destroy the hazardous material. It requires relatively small disposal area compared to the land burial. सो द इंसिनरेशन प्रोसेस है वो उसके लिए कम एरिया की रिक्वायरमेंट होती है एज कम्पेयर टू द अदर प्रोसेसेस. नाउ व्हाट आर द डिसएडवांटेजेस ऑफ द इंसिनरेशन? सो द कैपिटल कॉस्ट इज हाई. सो द अर्लियर कैपिटल कॉस्ट इज वेरी हाई. द इंसिनरेशन रिक्वायर द skilled operators for the operation process. All material are not incinerable, like the construction and demolition waste are cannot be used for incineration. The supplemental fuel is required for the incineration process. The solid residue remaining in the furnace after incineration is called bottom ash, which is ultimately go to the land disposal, and this create problem because the bottom is having the large amount of the heavy metals. Now next one is the chances of air pollution due to fly ash emission and air health hazard due to the emission of dioxin furon to the living beings. Now the second process is the pyrolysis. Pyrolysis is a thermochemical decomposition of the organic material. At elevated temperature, it is the operated at elevated temperature ranging from 450 to 550 degrees centigrade in the absence of oxygen. So the pyrolysis is a thermochemical process. It operated at elevated temperature ranging from 450 to 550 degrees centigrade, and it operate in the absence of oxygen. So pyrolysis के लिए ऑक्सीजन की रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं होती है, ये ऑक्सीजन की absence में काम करती है. It is carried out an inert atmosphere such as in the presence of vacuum. So there is no oxygen, so we require proper closed chamber or the presence of the vacuum for the pyrolysis process. The pyrolysis is a endothermic process. इससे पहले हमने देखा कि इंसिनरेशन इज ए एक्सोथर्मिक प्रोसेस, बट पायरोलाइसिस इज ए endothermic process. Sometimes the pyrolysis is also called as dry distillation, thermal decomposition, and carbonizations. So the pyrolysis utilizes the thermal instability of organic matter in the absence of oxygen conditions that break down the large molecule into the small molecules of fuel, gas, liquid, and coke. Pyrolysis involves a simultaneous change in the chemical composition and physical state that are irreversible. एक बार जो भी वेस्ट का कंपोजिशन है, फिजिकल स्ट्रक्चर और केमिकल कंपोजिशन अगर चेंज हो गया तो वो वापस रिवर्स में नहीं होगा ड्यू टू द पायरोलाइसिस. It is considered that as a first step in the process of gasification and combustion. So pyrolysis एक बेसिक स्टेप है जो कि गैसिफिकेशन प्रोसेस में भी काम आती है और कंबशन प्रोसेस में भी काम आती है. So pyrolysis of organic substances produce gas and liquid product and leave the solid residue richer in the carbon content. So the produced solid, that is the biochar, liquid and non-condensable gases like hydrogen, methane, other alkane, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide and oxides of nitrogens. So the feedstock or waste material that is used for pyrolysis that should have very high calorific value with less moisture content and should be homogeneous in nature. Homogeneous in nature means the waste should be a particular type of waste. It should not be a mixed type of waste. Many plastics, particularly polyolefins, which having very high calorific value, and the simple chemical constituents of primary carbon and hydrogen generally used as a feedstock for pyrolysis. Now recently the pyrolysis plant are also tested for the carbon rich organic materials such as municipal solid waste that are in the testing phase. So this is the general process of the pyrolysis. Here you can see the biomass. The first initial go for the drying to remove the moisture, then after grinding, then after pyrolysis, then after char removal, then after quenching, and finally the emission of gas. And these gas sometimes also used for the pyrolysis. So this is a general process of the pyrolysis. Now what are the products produced due to the pyrolysis of biomass? So pyrolysis also produce the liquid gases and solid product, the bio oil that is used as a low grade diesel oil. Biochar, this is a solid material that is created in the process, and syngas, it is a composition of carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, hydrogen and light hydrocarbons. So in general the pyrolysis are classified into two types: fast pyrolysis and slow pyrolysis. And the classification of this fast and slow pyrolysis generally due to the variation in the rate of pyrolysis temperature. In the fast pyrolysis, the rate of pyrolysis temperature is 1000 degrees centigrade per second. And in this process, 60 to 70% bio oil produced. So in fast pyrolysis, bio oil is a major component that is produced, and in slow pyrolysis the biochar is a major product. So this is the basic difference in the fast pyrolysis and slow pyrolysis. So here you can see the differences in the slow and fast pyrolysis. Here you can see the temperature of the slow pyrolysis is varies from 300 to 700 degrees centigrade, and in the fast pyrolysis is 600 degrees centigrade to 1000 degrees centigrade. Then after the heating rate, that in the degree centigrade per minute, in slow pyrolysis 0.1 to 10 degrees centigrade per minute, and in fast pyrolysis 10 to 10,000 degrees centigrade per minute. Then after the aeration status, so pyrolysis generally take place in the absence of oxygen. So the slow pyrolysis is oxygen free or in the limited condition, or the fast pyrolysis is operated in the oxygen free conditions. Then what is the residence time of the waste or pyrolysis? So it is ranging from minutes to hour, and the fast pyrolysis for the seconds. What are the target product in the slow pyrolysis? Biochar is the major component, and in fast pyrolysis the bio oil is the major component. Okay. Then which type reactor used for the slow and fast pyrolysis? in slow pyrolysis, fixed bed pyrolysis reactor, agar pyrolysis reactor, and in fast pyrolysis में bubbling fluidized bed, ablative reactor and rotary cone reactors are used in fast pyrolysis. So what are the advantages of slow pyrolysis? So the slow pyrolysis yield the highest yield of the biochar, can accept a wide range of the particle size. And what is the advantage of fast pyrolysis? It is yield higher yield of the bio oil. What are the disadvantages of the slow pyrolysis? The further treatment of gases that are emitted from the in primary chamber require the secondary treatment. And in the fast pyrolysis, the low biochar yield, fine particle of biomass feed is required, preferred biomass with low moisture content is required. So these are the disadvantages of the fast pyrolysis. So here you can see and differentiate the slow pyrolysis and fast pyrolysis. Now in presently the plasma pyrolysis vitrification process is used for the waste management, and it is a modified pyrolysis technology. The plasma pyrolysis vitrification is a modified pyrolysis technology which employs the application of high voltage. इसमें क्या होता है कि हाई वोल्टेज को अप्लाई किया जाता है टू जनरेट वेरी हाई टेम्परेचर ranging from 5000 to 14,000 degrees centigrade for the decomposition of inorganic matter in waste stream. Okay, so this is a modification of the pyrolysis process. Now till now we discussed two methods, incineration and pyrolysis. So the question is which one is the better? कौन सी प्रोसेस ज्यादा अच्छी है, pyrolysis या incineration? So here we can say the pyrolysis is better process as compared to the incineration. But why pyrolysis is better? Because it produces the less pollutants. Pyrolysis produces the less flue gas and having the small amount of heavy metals, dioxin and furans. Pyrolysis carried out under the conditions of hypoxia, or we can say in the absence of the oxygens. So there are lower chances or fewer chances of production of oxides of sulfur, nitrogen, HCl and other pollutants. And the pyrolysis is operation are simple and convenient as compared to incineration. Okay, so that's why the pyrolysis is better option than the incineration. The Environmental Protection Agency announced in 2012 the safe limit for human oral consumption for dioxin and furan is zero point 0.7 picogram toxic equivalence TEQ per kilogram body weight per day. Now the gasification process. So gasification is a process that convert the organic and fossil-based carbonaceous material at high temperature, more than 700 degree, ranging from 800 to 1200 degrees centigrade, without combustion, with a controlled or limited amount of the oxygen or steam, and they convert the material into the carbon monoxide, hydrogen and carbon dioxide. So गैसिफिकेशन क्या है? गैसिफिकेशन एक प्रोसेस है जिसमें ऑर्गेनिक और फॉसिल फ्यूल बेस्ड कार्बोनियस मटेरियल को हाई टेम्परेचर पे मोर देन 700 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड टेम्परेचर में ऑक्सीजन की लिमिटेड अमाउंट में और कंट्रोल्ड अमाउंट में उसको कंबशन किया जाता है, जिससे कार्बन मोनोऑक्साइड, कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड एंड हाइड्रोजन गैसेस का प्रोडक्शन होता है. सो गैसिफिकेशन इज ए थर्मल प्रोसेस. So it in which both the heat and combustible gases are produced. So there are generally two type of the gasification process: partial oxidation, in which we provide the limited amount of the oxygen for the combustion of the waste material, and second one is the complete oxidation, in which we provide the sufficient amount of the air for the complete oxidation of the waste, in which the steam or oxidizing air act as a oxidizing agent. So the gasification process produces medium energy content gas, that is referred to the synthetic gas or syngas, having the medium energy content, and also produce the low energy content gas, that is known as producer gas. That is known as producer gases. So the syngas, the major component of syngas is the carbon monoxide and hydrogen. Along with carbon monoxide and hydrogen, the carbon dioxide and methane are also present in the composition of syngas. Then after the producer gas is a mixture of carbon monoxide, hydrogen, carbon dioxide, and nitrogen. So here you can see nitrogen present only in the producer gas. Now this is the flow diagram of the gasification process. So in gasification process, here you can see this is the feedstock where we put the waste. So there are two chambers. The first one is this is the primary chamber, and this is the secondary chamber. So in the primary chamber, the combustion of the waste material take place in the limited amount of the oxygen, and in the secondary chamber, it the combustion of the waste material take place in the sufficient amount of the air. Then after it goes into the cyclone, and where it the burning of the proper burning of the take place, and the removal of the particulate matters from the flue gases. So there are two type of chamber: primary chamber and secondary chambers. This is the primary chamber and this is the secondary chamber. Here the primary chamber operated below the stoichiometric air means the quantity of air is low and it is in the excess of air. Now the types of the gasifiers. So the gasification technology is selected on the basis of available fuel quality, capacity range, and gas quality conditions. Okay, so generally there are two type of the gasifiers. First one is the fixed bed type, and second one is the fluidized bed type gasifiers. So fixed bed type. So fixed bed type gasifiers generally having the grate to support the feed material and maintain the stationary reaction zone. इनमें कोई भी मूविंग पार्ट नहीं होता है, इसमें सब कुछ फिक्स्ड होता है, स्टेशनरी फेज में होता है, और यहाँ एक प्रॉपर ग्रेट होता है जो कि जो भी वेस्ट मटेरियल आता है उसके लिए सपोर्ट प्रोवाइड कराता है. So there are relatively easy to design and operate. So therefore used for the small and medium scale power and thermal energy usage. So the fixed bed type gasifiers are classified into updraft and downdraft gasifiers. So these are the two updraft and downdraft gasifiers. The updraft is very highly efficient and weight waste up to 50% moisture can be gasified. So जो अपड्राफ्ट टाइप का गैसीफायर होता है वो हाईली एफिशिएंट होता है, और जो वेस्ट मटेरियल उन जिनमें 50% तक भी मॉइस्चर होती है उनका भी इसमें गैसिफिकेशन हो सकता है. सो अपड्राफ्ट में क्या होता है कि इसके बॉटम से एयर को फ्लो किया जाता है और फ्यूल को टॉप से इंजेक्ट किया जाता है. सो इसमें फर्स्ट ऑफ द ऑक्सीडेशन होता है, रिडक्शन होता है, पायरोलाइसिस होता है एंड ड्राइंग होता है. एंड इन डाउन ड्राफ्ट में क्या होता है, टॉप साइड से फ्यूल को इंजेक्ट किया जाता है एंड साइड से एयर को इंजेक्ट किया जाता है, जिसमें पायरोलाइसिस एंड ड्राइंग टू प्रोसेस होती हैं. The fluidized bed are preferred for gasification of the municipal solid waste, and it can be used for the multiple fuels, offers relatively compact combustion chamber and good operational control. So the fluidized bed are two types gasifiers: the bubbling fluidized bed gasifiers and circulating fluidized bed gasifiers. Okay. Now the thermal capacity of different gasifier designs, the downdraft gasifier, the fuel capacity is 1 kilowatt to 1 megawatt. The updraft gasifier 1.1 megawatt to 12 megawatt. The bubbling fluidized bed 1 megawatt to 50 megawatt, and circulating fluidized bed to 10 megawatt to 200 megawatt. So these are the four type of the gasifiers: updraft, downdraft, fluidized bed, and entrained bed. Okay, entrained bed type. So here you can see in fluidized bed the fuel is injected from the top and the air is injected from the bottom. In downdraft the fuel is injected from the top and the air is from the side part. Okay. In the fluidized bed there is a bed. In bed, this is the bed. In bed the air and fuel simultaneously inject from the side for the proper burning of the waste material. And in entrained bed type of gasifier, the fuel and oxygen, or we can say air, is inject from the top for the proper burning of the waste material. Now the some emerging terms related to the gasification, that is the plasma gasification or plasma discharge. So plasma gasification or plasma discharge uses very high extremely temperature in the absence of oxygen or in the limited quantity of the oxygen for the complete decomposition of the waste material. Okay. So the heat source in this process is the plasma discharge source that producing very high temperature of plasma gas. So till now we have discussed three processes: incineration, that is also known combustion, pyrolysis, and gasification process. So now we can differentiate these three processes. So in this table you can see the differences in these three processes. So what is the oxidizing agent or status of the oxygen in these processes? So the incineration and combustion take place in the presence of oxygen, the pyrolysis in absence of oxygen, and the gasification in the limited or controlled amount of the oxygen. Now the temperature. In the incineration, temperature ranging from 1200 to 1500 degrees centigrade. In pyrolysis, 450 to 550 degrees centigrade. And gasification operated at more than 700 degrees centigrade. Then the principal product of different processes. So in the incineration, heat and flue gases are generated. In the pyrolysis, oil, tar, heat, combustible, liquid, and gases are generated. And in gasification, heat, combustible gases, and liquid are generated. Then after the principal component gases are generated, CO2 and water vapor. Then after in pyrolysis, syngas, that is the CO, carbon monoxide, and hydrogen. In gasification also the syngas produce CO and H2. The operating pressure, the incineration operated at atmospheric pressure. The pyrolysis is either atmospheric or higher pressure, and the gasification process operated at atmospheric pressure. Then after reaction, the incineration is a exothermic process, and the pyrolysis and gasification both are endothermic processes. Then after pollutant emitted from by these processes, so the incineration process produced the dioxin and furans and particulate matters. The pyrolysis produced the tar, particulates, and oxides of sulfur, chlorine, and nitrogen. And gasification also produced the tar, particulates, and oxides of the sulfur, chlorine, and nitrogen. So these are the differences in three processes: incineration, pyrolysis, and gasification. Now the some other methods are also used for the management of the municipal solid waste. So in one of which is the torrefaction. सो टोरफेक्शन मीन्स क्या होता है? इसका जनरल मीनिंग ये होता है कि किसी लकड़ी को हम कोयले में कन्वर्ट कर देते हैं, दैट इज द टोरफेक्शन. ओके. इन द absence of oxygen we convert the biomass into the biochar. सो टोरफेक्शन कन्वर्ट इन द एब्सेंस, ये प्रोसेस भी ऑक्सीजन के एब्सेंस में होती है जैसे पायरोलाइसिस होता है, बट इन पायरोलाइसिस में टेम्परेचर हायर होता है, टोरिफेक्शन में टेम्परेचर लो होता है. So it convert the biomass in the absence of oxygen at the temperature of 200 to 300 degrees centigrade to produce the torrefied material, that is bio-oils and biochar. So torrefaction process changes the biomass property that provide the better fuel quality for the combustion and gasification process. अगर किसी भी बायोमास का अपन टोरिफेक्शन कर देते हैं, टोरिफेक्शन करने के बाद में जो फ्यूल मटेरियल प्रोड्यूस होता है वो गैसिफिकेशन और कंबशन प्रोसेस के लिए गुड क्वालिटी फ्यूल की तरह काम करता है. देन व्हाट इज द मेजर डिफरेंस बिटवीन द टोरिफेक्शन एंड slow pyrolysis? So the torrefaction generally operated at a lower temperature, 200 to 300 degrees centigrade, but the slow pyrolysis that is operated 350 to 700 degrees centigrade. Okay, so this is the some one of the major difference between the torrefaction and slow pyrolysis. The torrefied biomass is the most elegant solution to convert the raw biomass into the coal-like material. So torrefied, when the biomass is treated in the absence of oxygen at 200 to 300 degrees centigrade, they converted into the coal-like material that is known as torrefied coal or torrefied biomass. Okay, so the final product remaining that is solid, dry, blackened material that is referred as torrefied biomass or biocoal. So the torrefaction process generally lose the 20% of biomass, 20% of the mass of biomass, 10% of the heating value of the biomass, and there is no appreciable changes in the volume of biomass. So here you can see in this diagram, first process is the torrefaction that is operated at 2 to 300 degrees centigrade, and this is operated in the absence of oxygen. The second process that is the pyrolysis operated in from more than 400 to 600 degree, and that in the absence of the oxygen, and they produce the carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, water, organic vapor and char. The gasification process that is operated more than 700 degrees centigrade, and that is under the presence of oxygen and steam, and they produces the water vapor, carbon monoxide, dioxide, hydrogen, other hydrocarbons, tar and char. And the combustion that is the incineration process that in the presence of oxygen generate the CO2, H2O and heat. So likewise these are the processes that are used for the conversion of the biomass or waste material. Now we will discuss some important questions related to these processes. So the first question is, in the context of which one of the following are terms pyrolysis and plasma gasification mentioned? So pyrolysis और plasma gasification process के लिए कौन सा terms suitable है? Let's check the options. First one is the extraction of rare earth element. No, it is not related to the extraction of rare earth material. Natural gas extraction technology. No, it is not related to the natural gas extraction technology. Hydrogen fuel based automobile. Wrong answer. Fourth one is the waste to energy technologies. So this is related to the waste to energy technologies. Second question, consider the following statement on pyrolysis. First statement is the pyrolysis is the burning of substance in the absence of oxygen. This is the right statement. Pyrolysis normally take place at temperature ranging from 500 to 600 degrees centigrade. This is also right option. So both A and B is the right answer, right statement. Now the third question is, which of the following factor influence pyrolysis? So the temperature of the process affect the pyrolysis. Particle size is also affect the pyrolysis process. Material composition also affect the pyrolysis process, and the physical structure of the materials also affect the pyrolysis process. So all four options are affecting the pyrolysis process. So the correct answer is that D. All the above is the right answer for the pyrolysis process. सो फ्रेंड्स, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर वॉचिंग दिस वीडियो। अगले वीडियो में फिर मिलते हैं, तब तक के लिए नमस्कार।